الذي لا شريك له في خلقه ولا شبيه له في عظمته. الحمد لله الفاشف الخلق عمره، وحمده الظاهر بالكرم مجده، والباسط بالجود يده الذي لا تنقص خزائنه ولا تزيد كثرة العطاء إلا جودا وكرما. إنه هو العزيز الوهاب. اللهم إني أسألك قليلا من كثير مع حاجة بي إليه عظيمة، وغناك عنه قديم، وهو عندي كثير، وهو عليك سهل يسير. اللهم إن عفوك عن ذنبي، وتجاوزك عن خطيئتي، وصفحك عن ظلمي، وفضلك عن قبيح عملي، وحلمك عن كثير كان من خطأ وعمدي. اسمعني بأن أسألك ما لا أستوجبه منك، الذي رزقتني من رحمتك، وأوريتني من قدرتك، وعرفتني من إجابتك. فصرت أدعوك آمنا وأسألك مستعنسا، لا خائفا ولا وجلا، مدلا عليك فيما قصدت فيه إليك. فإن ابتعني تقت بجهلي عليك، ولعل الذي ابتعني
هو خير لعلمك بعاقبة الأمور. فلا مولا كريما أصبر على عبد الليم منك علي. يا ربي إنك تدعوني فهو لي عاد، وتتحبب إلي فتبغض إليك، وتتودد إلي فلا أقبل منك كأن ليتطول عليك. فلم يمنعك ذلك من الرحمة والإحسان إليك والتفضل علي بجودك وكرمك. فرحان عبدك الجاهل، وجد علي بفضل إحسانك إنك جواد كريم. الحمد لله مالك الملك مجري الفلك مسخر الرياح فالق الإصباح ديان دين رب العالمين. الحمد لله على علمه بعد علمه، والحمد لله على عفوه بعد قدرته، والحمد لله على طول عناته في غضبه، وهو قادر على ما يريد. الحمد لله خالق الخالق باسط الرزق خالق الإصباح ذي الجلال والإكرام والفضل والإنعام، الذي بعد فلا يرى وقرب فشهد النجوى تبارك وتعالى. الحمد لله الذي ليس له منازع يعادله، ولا شبيه يشاكله، ولا ظهير يعاضده. قهر بعزته العزة وتواضع لعظمته العظمى، فبلغ بقدرته ما يشاء. الحمد لله الذي يجيبني حين أنادي، ويستر علي كل عورة وأنا أعصي، ويعظم النعمة علي فلا أجازي. فكم من موهبة هنية قد أعطاني، وعظيمة مخوفة قد كفاني، وبهجة مونقة قد أراني. فأثني عليه حامدا واذكره مسبحا. الحمد لله الذي لا يفتح حجابه، ولا يغلق بابه، ولا يرد السائل، ولا يخيب آمله. الحمد لله الذي يؤمن الخائفين وينجي الصالحين، ويرفع المستضعفين، ويضع المستكبرين، ويهلك ملوكا ويستخلف آخرين. والحمد لله قاسم الجبارين مبير الظالمين مدرك الحاربين نكال الظالمين صريخ المستصرخين موضع حاجات الطالبين معتمد المؤمنين. الحمد لله الذي من خشيته ترعد السماء وسكانها، وترجف الأرض وعمارها، وتموج البحر ومن يسبح في غمراتها. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. الحمد لله الذي يخلق ولم يخلق، ويرزق ولا يرزق، ويطعم ولا يطعم، ويميت الأحياء ويحيي الموتى، وهو حي لا يموت، بيده الخير وهو على كل شيء قدير. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك وأمينك وصفيك وحبيبك وخيرتك من خلقك،
وحافظ سرك ومبلغ رسالاتك، أفضل وأحسن وأجمل وأكمل وأزكى وأمنى وأطيب وأطهر وأسنى، وأكثر ما صليت وباركت وترحمت وتهننت وسلمت على أحد من عبادك وأنبيائك ورسلك وصفتك وأهل الكرامة عليك من خلقك. اللهم وصل على علي أمير المؤمنين ووصي رسول رب العالمين، عبدك ووليك وأخي رسولك وحجتك على خلقك وآيتك الكبرى والنبأ العظيم. وصل على صديقة الطاهرة فاطمة الزهراء سيدة النساء العالمين، وصل على سبطي الرحمة وإمامي الهدى الحسن والحسين سيد الشباب أهل الجنة، وصل على أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر
علي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد
والحسن بن علي والخلف الهادي المهدي، حججك على عبادك وأمنائك في بلادك صلاة كثيرة دائمة. اللهم وصل على ولي أمرك القائم المعمل والعدل المنتظر، وحفه بملائكتك المقربين، وأيده بروح القدس يا رب العالمين. اللهم اجعله الداعي إلى كتابك والقائم بدينك، استخلفه في الأرض كما استخلفت الذين من قبلهم، مكن له دينه الذي ارتضيت له، أبدله من بعده خوفه أمنا يعبدك لا يشرك بك شيئا. اللهم أعزه وأعزز به، وانصره وانتصر به، وانصره نصرا عزيزا، وافتح له فتحا يسيرا، واجعل له من لدنك سلطانا نسيرا. اللهم أظهر به دينك وسنة نبيك حتى لا يستخفي بشيء من الحق مخافة أحد من الخلق. اللهم إنا نرغب إليك في دولة كريمة تعز بها الإسلام وأهله، وتضل بها النفاق وأهله، وتجعلنا فيها من الدعاة إلى طاعتك والقادة إلى سبيلك، وترزقنا بها كرامة الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم ما عرفتنا من الحق فحملنا، وما قصرنا عنه فبلغنا. اللهم المم به شعثنا، وشعب به صدعنا، وارتق به فتقنا، وكثر به قلتنا، واعزز به ذلتنا، وأغن به عائلنا، واقض به مغرمنا، واجبر به فقرنا، وصد به خلتنا، ويسر به عسرنا، وبيض به وجوهنا، وفك به أسرنا، وأنجه به طلبتنا، وأنجز به مواعيدنا، واستجب به دعوتنا، واعتنا به سعلنا، وبلغنا به من الدنيا والآخرة آمالنا، واعتنا به فوق رغبتنا يا خير المسؤولين وأوسع المعتين. اشف به صدورنا، وأذهب به غيظ قلوبنا، واهدنا به لما اختلف فيه من الحق بإذنك، إنك تهدي من تشاء إلى صراط مستقيم. وانصرنا به على عدوك وعدونا إله الحق آمين. اللهم إننا نشكو إليك فقد نبينا صلواتك عليه وآله، وغيبة ولينا، وكثرة عدونا، وقلة عددنا، وشدة الفتن بنا، وتظاهر الزمان علينا، فصل على محمد وآله، وعنا على ذلك بفتح منك تعجله، وبضر تكشفه، ونصر تعزه، وسلطان حق تظهره، ورحمة منك تجللناها، وعافية منك تلبسناها، برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم برحمتك في الصالحين فادخلنا، وفي عليين فارفعنا، وبكأس من معين من عين سلسبيل فاسقنا، ومن الحور العين برحمتك فزوجنا، ومن الولدان المخلدين كأنهم لؤلؤ مكنون فأخدمنا، ومن ثمار الجنة ولحوم الطير فأطعمنا، ومن ثياب السندس والحرير والاستبرق فألبسنا، وليلة القدر وحج بيتك الحرام وقتلا في سبيلك فوفق لنا، وصالح الدعاء والمسألة فاستجب لنا، وإذا جمعت الأولين والآخرين يوم القيامة فرحمنا، وبراءة من النار فاكتب لنا، وفي جهنم فلا تغلنا، وفي عذابك وحوانك فلا تبتلنا، ومن الزقوم والضري فلا تطعمنا، ومع الشياطين فلا تجعلنا، وفي النار على وجوهنا فلا تكببنا، ومن ثياب النار وسرابيل القطران فلا تلبسنا، ومن كل سوء يا لا إله إلا أنت، بحق لا إله إلا أنت، فنجنا فنجنا فنجنا. اللهم إني أسألك أن تجعل فيما تقضي وتقدر من الأمر المحتوم في الأمر الحكيم من القضاء الذي لا يرد ولا يبدل، أن تكتبني من حجاج بيتك الحرام المبرور حجهم، المشكور سعيهم، المغفور ذنوبهم، المكفر عن سيئاتهم، وأن تجعل فيما تقضي وتقدر أن تطيل عمري في خير وعافية، وتوسع في رزقي، وتجعلني ممن تنتصر به لدينك ولا تستبدل بي غيره. أعوذ بجلال وجهك الكريم أن ينقضي عني شهر رمضان، أو يطلع الفجر من ليلتي هذه ولك قبلي تبعة أو ذنب تعذبني عليه. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إلهي وقف الصائلون ببابك، ولاذ الفقراء بجنابك، ووقفت سفينة المساكين على ساحل بحر جودك وكرمك، يرجون الجواز إلى ساحة رحمتك. إلهي إن كنت لا تغفر في هذا الشهر الشريف إلا لمن أخلص لك في صيامه وقيامه، فمن للمذنب المقصر إذا غرق في بحر ذنوبه وآثامه. إلهي إن كنت لا ترحم إلا المطيعين، فمن للعاصين، وإن كنت لا تقبل إلا من العاملين، فمن للمقصرين. إلهي ربع الصائمون، وفاز القائمون، ونجا المخلصون، ونحن عبيدك المذنبون، فارحمنا برحمتك واعتقنا من النار بعفوك يا كريم يا أرحم الراحمين. وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين. برای خوشنودی 14 معصومین بلندترین صلوات. برای दुआए खुशनूदी जनाब सैयदा सलामुल्लाह अलैहा बुलंद तरीन सलावत।
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين، ثم الصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على خاتم النبيين والسيد المرسلين أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين، لا سيما عن الإمام المنتظر وحجة الله الثاني عشر ابن العسكري المنتظر، ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه الكريم القرآن الحكيم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. صلوات. Into the second night of my promise to you that the first two nights will be little distance away from my main topic, and it is with the intention that we hold each other's hands to move forward towards the success that God has ordained for us by means of tawasaw bil haqq and tawasaw bil sabr, helping one another, doing wasiyat to one another for the obedience towards Allah and the benefit and deriving the maximum effects for the month of Ramadan. Yesterday, if you recall, we had identified 2 points, and basically the idea of these 2 days is that we set a platform whereby for the remainder of the month of Ramadan we act on these Amal which have immense benefits. And you heard 2 of them yesterday. We will continue with 2 of them today. Tomorrow is the workshop, and then after that we start our main program. However, as I mentioned, these 2 nights, yesterday and tonight, should not be considered as any trivial or insignificant, because this is what we are laying the groundwork for the remainder of the month of Ramadan. Yesterday we spoke about Dua Joshne Kabira. We spoke about Surah Inna Anzalna. And just for your information, one sentence which I will elaborate tomorrow is that when I mentioned that it's not just that I'm telling you, I've already told my family. So if I've told you about Dua Joshne Kabir, I've inquired the 12-hour difference. I've inquired with my family and they've recited it at home. This is what we need to do. But more elaboration on this will come inshallah tomorrow in the workshop. Having said that, we have to realize the importance that we are in which part of the year that we find ourselves in. In that last khutbah of Sha'ban, the Holy Prophet has said, Du'aytum fihi ila dhiyafatillah. All of you, O people, the Holy Prophet is saying, have been invited to the feast of Allah, to the banquet of Allah. I'm going to give you 2 examples today of what that feast of Allah means when we become the guest of Allah. खुदा की मेहमानी और हम जो खुदा के मेहमान बने हैं What is the outcome? What is the consequence of that? I want to show you with two little points today. But I just want to highlight to you that we need to get that perspective right, the mindset right when it comes to the month of Ramadan. See, we have the Arafah that we have in our Islamic ulama cycle. The Arafah, Ayatollah Behjat and Ayatollah Allama Tabatabai and Ayatollah Hassan Zada Amili and Sayyid Mahdi Bahar Ulum and Sheikh Haddad and XYZ. These Arafah have a dab, they have a norm, they have an etiquette. One of the etiquettes is that they will never pray to Allah to give them a long life. If it is there in the du'as, they will pray it. And tutila umri fi khairin wa afi. We recite in dua. Ki Allah increase, give me a tool of umr. But that is because it has come from the ma'asumin. But when they do their dua, they never say, Allah give me a long life. They say, we are nobody to tell God. You want to keep me, you keep me. You want to take me, you take me. Except in one occasion. Why I'm saying this in the month of Ramadan, we need to know where we stand. These Urfa will never seek a long life, except when the month of Rajab comes. When the month of Rajab comes, now they will start praying to God. God, now that you've given me life till the month of Rajab, give me another 2.5 months so that I can get Laylatul Qadr. So that I can get Laylatul Qadr. Understand, all these du'as from the first night till the 22nd night are all gearing us up to increase our spirituality to get that Laylatul Qadr. That one night that will change your life and my life in this world and the hereafter. So when they see that they're in the month of Rajab, now they start praying. Yahan tak mohalat de di aur 2 mahine 10 din jo hai aur mujhe aur 2 mahine 20 din jo hai. Give me another 2 months and 19 days, 20 days, 21 days, so that I can get that Laylatul Qadr. And this is what happens, and it is not just you and me. Rawat tell us, even Imam Zamana Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajuhu Sharif. So I'm not going to discuss about Laylatul Qadr, we still have time for that. But what I'm saying is that even Imam Zamana Rawat tells us, come the first of Mahi Ramadan, he goes on a specific regimen of ibadat to highlight and uplift his spirituality, which is always at its epitome. But we have to understand, Imam Zamana is not Allah. He's not infinite. There's always room that he can write. And that's what happens when he said salawat upon the Ahlul Bayt. Their elevation, their rank increases. Rawat is there for us. He goes on a special regimen from the first of Mahi Ramadan. Ulama say, Mujtahideen say this, it's not from me. So he goes on a specific regimen of ibadat to elevate his spiritual level to a state where he can then receive min kulli amrin that comes down the Laylatul Qadr. It's not a joke to receive the affairs of the entire world. No, entire universe. No, entire world of creation. It is not just you and me. It's not just you and me and the jinn. It's not just you and me and the insects. It's you and me, jinn, angels, everything that comes under Alam al-Wujud. All the affairs of the Alam al-Wujud come on the qalb of one man, Imam Zamana. He has to develop and enhance his spirituality to receive that kind of revelation from Allah for the entire Alam al-Wujud, because he is the fulcrum and the pivot of the Alam al-Wujud. He is the fulcrum. Mahalli minha mahallatul qutb min al-raha. Imam Ali al-Islam says in Nahj al-Balagha, my entity in this entire universe, he's given the example in Nahj al-Balagha, in khutbah Shaykh, he says, mahalli minha, the position of me with respect to this world of existence. And khilafat is like mahallul qutb min al-raha. What is qutb and what is raha? Raha, chakki kehte hain Urdu mein. That chakki in Arabic is called riha. दो पत्थर होते हैं बड़े बड़े, सही है, एक के ऊपर handle होता है, and then there's a hole in between the two, and between the hole there's a piece of wood, and then we put grains, and then we move it, and the grain gets ground into powder and it falls from the sides. वही तो इसी तरह चक्की भी सी जाती है ना. You know what is important in these things to make the actual riha work? It is not the two stones. It is not the handle. It is a piece of wood that is a hole in between them, the two pieces of stones. Piece of wood is there, and now when you move the upper stone, it moves without coming out. If you were to pick up that piece of wood and try to move it, you would never be able to turn because it will fall off. Amir al-Mu'minin Khutbah Shaqiqiyya says, my existence in this universe is like that piece of wood. You take it out, this universe will not function. It will cease to function, just as a chakki will cease to function when you pick out that fulcrum. This is me. And that is what we need to understand. That even Imam Zamana, when he's receiving this entire revelation for the alam al-wujud, he has to elevate himself. So then what's wrong with you and me trying to do it? Why shouldn't we be doing it? And so the order for always wait. When it's Rajab, they say, now give us time so that we can get Laylatul Qadr. A few things today that you need to bear with me. I'll go quickly. In our series of ulama that have passed by, specifically the Urafa, those who are interested into Irfan and have followed, there's one personality by the name of Sayyid Qadi Tabatabai. Sayyid Qadi Tabatabai is buried in Najaf in Wadi Salam. Anytime you go to the Qabristan of Wadi Salam and you go to the Qabr of Sayyid Qadi Tabatabai, you will not usually find awam. You'll always find ulama, muftahideen go there. Sayyid Qadi Tabatabai was one in a existence of an individual to live. And this is not me saying this. Muftahideen, when they asked, tell us about the rank of Sayyid Qadi Tabatabai, Maraja, when they asked, you know what they say? They say, if you need to have another person like Sayyid Qadi Tabatabai in this world, Allah will have to create another universe. In this world, a person like him is not possible. Ajib Sahib Karamat. The ustaz of directly or indirectly, of all the major Urafa from his time. Sayyid Kashmiri, one of the greatest Arabs, Ustad of Shaykh Kashmiri, Sayyid Qadi Tabatabai. His students, Ustad Sayyid Kashmiri, Allama Tabatabai, Ayatollah Behjat, Ayatollah Hassan Zada Amali, Ayatollah Jawadi. You name an Arif after him who's not been his student. Sahib Karamat. One instance, and then tell you where I want to take you. One of his students is narrating on the authority of one of his students. So Sayyid Qadi has a student, and this student has a student. He is narrating that my teacher was a student of Sayyid Qadi Tabatabai. He was on his deathbed, almost about to die. Says we sat around him, and he's saying, Achanak jo hai, ye puri mahfil jo hai, it became very spiritual, very emotional. And this person is saying, this sheikh is saying, ki ma ustad is saying, وين أفراد مثل سيد قاضي Tabatabai? Where are these people like Sayyid Qadi Tabatabai? We don't see them. Then he's saying, let me tell you what that person was. One instance, numerous instances, but one instance. He says, when I was a student and he was to teach us, we had gone to Masjid al-Sahla on Tuesday night, Shab-e Wednesday. It's mustahab to go mukhsus, Masjid al-Sahla. So we went to Masjid al-Sahla. Those who've gone to Iraq know what I'm talking about. Says in those days we walked from Najaf to Masjid al-Sahla. The Masjid al-Sahla in those days was not like what it is now. So there's no light. Najaf had no light. Forget about Masjid al-Sahla. Najaf had no light. In the darkness with the lantern, we went inside Masjid al-Sahla. We did the ibadat. Middle of the night, we started coming out. To go to where? To go to Najaf. Where? To recite Namaz-e-Shab in the Haram of Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam. So all of us, says we came out of the mosque into the Hayat, into the Sahel. And as we came out, all of us stopped because in front of us there was a big snake. Says everybody got scared except Sayyid Qadi Tabatabai. So as soon as we saw the snake, we moved back behind Sayyid Qadi Tabatabai. Sayyid Qadi looks at us, says, La takhafu, don't get frightened. He turns to the snake and you go to Najaf and ask anybody from the Ahlul Ilm. He points at the snake and says, Mut bi'idhnillah, die by the power of God. So that snake that was wriggling stops where it is, doesn't move. Qadi says, let's go. Everybody's worried, it's not moving, is it just not moving or is it really dead? Mut in Arabic means die. Bi'idhnillah, by the power, by the permission of God. The snake dies. Said Qadhi, everybody goes forward. This student who's about to die saying, we were all shocked what we saw. One order and the snake just stops. Says we go outside, we head outside the mosque. One of my friends was having doubts. So he comes back, goes slowly close, sees the snake is dead, kicks it, stiff, as if dead years ago. Dead. He comes back quickly and joins the group. As he joins the group, Said Qadhi turns to him and said, you tested it out, yeah? It's dead? This is Sayyid Qadhi Tabatabai. Go to Najaf, inshallah. Those who have gone, inshallah, again I repeat, may Allah grant them tawfiq to go again. Those who have not gone, may Allah grant them tawfiq to go again. Go to Tawadi Salam. You will not find that qabr empty. There's always either a talib ilm or an alim sitting over there. Said Qadhi is a name by itself over there. So Allama Tabatabai was a student of Sayyid Qadhi. Where I'm going to this point. Maha Ramadan. The whole night now, the whole month remaining. We are here to set up the platform for the remaining 29 nights. 2 points yesterday, 2 points today. Says Allama Tabatabai, say, I was standing near the gate. Allama Tabatabai, you know, yeah? Who doesn't know Allama Tabatabai? Tafsir al-Mizan, who doesn't know? Says, I was standing I had just moved to Najaf, starting my studies. And I was standing outside the door of the madrasa and Sayyid Qadhi passed by. He sees me, he comes to me, he puts a hand on my shoulder. He said, Muhammad Hussain, if you want dunya, namaz-e-shab. If you want akhirat, namaz-e-shab. Why am I saying this? This is the time where if you do not have time in the other months, this is the time to start now. The stomach will always get you to wake up at the time of Sahar. The stomach will always tell you, wake up at the time of Sahari. At the time of Sahari, when you wake up for food, take some time out to recite namaz-e-shab. Those who are reciting, alhamdulillah. Those who are not reciting, you want dunya namaz-e-shab, you want akhirat namaz-e-shab. This is a man, Ahl-e Dil, who has seen things, is telling us. Don't lose out on this opportunity. If you're praying, get your children to pray. If you're not praying, start praying now. Sometimes it is inconceivable when people think that success lies in their efforts. Yes, Quran says, لَيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى. Man will get what he endeavors and strives for, but that does not work without the support of the divine guidance of Allah. Without Allah, Quran says, وَمَا بِكُم مِّن نِعْمَةٍ فَمِنَ اللَّهِ. Everything that comes to you from God. If a person thinks by his effort he's going to strike it big in this world and strike it big in the hereafter, a massive mistake. It doesn't work. It has to come from God, and if it has to come from God, dunya mein khawai namaz-e-shab, akhirat mein khawai namaz-e-shab. You want dunya namaz-e-shab, you want akhirat namaz-e-shab. Try it out, especially the youths. You want to see how it helps you out in studies, my friend? I'm telling this to you. I've seen my son. This is personal. This is personal testimony. 3 years he started reciting namaz-e-shab. From year 7 to year 10. And where he reached because of this namaz-e-shab, I know it. This is my personal experience, I'm telling you. Your memory increases, your retention increases, your grasp increases, your marks will increase. You will see the change in your life. Try it out for 6 months and then say that to me. So namaz-e-shab, good time now. Those who are in the taqleed of Ayatollah Sistani, even easier for you than as opposed to Marhum Ayatollah Khoi. Because Marhum Ayatollah Khoi had the mabna. That namaz-e-shab has to be recited after Nisf al-Layl, midnight. Ayatollah Sistani says, no, according to my tahqiq, you can recite namaz-e-shab immediately after Isha prayers. Aur kya chahiye hame? Then they say 11 rakat, you can't pray 11 rakat, leave out the 8th rakat, pray 3 rakats. You can't pray 3 rakats, pray 1 rakat namaz al-witr. That 1 rakat, if you cannot pray for 15 minutes, recite Alhamd, recite Qul Huwallah and go down. God wants to see you do it after namaz al-Isha. Not 11 rakat, 3 rakats. Not 3 rakats, 1 rakat. Not 15 minutes of 1 rakat, 1 minute of alhamd, qul huwallah, go to one side, qunut and go to ruku and sajda. Is that so difficult to get dunya and akhirah? Ajab bana this is, yeah? Agar ye hum nahi kar sakte, to you can't strike big without God in this world. खुदा के अलावा कामयाबी नहीं है मुयस्सर. कब इंसान समझेगा? हर चीज की बागडोर is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not in our zakawat, our intelligence, our business planning, our business strategy. You know what Amir al-Mu'mineen says? You know how I know God? When the best of my plans fail, I know there is a power over me. I've planned out, I've strategized, I've got everything right, I've got my entire business proposal planned out, finances ready, everything. And at the last moment when I'm going to start, things fall out of place. Now I know that there's some power that has overruled my thinking. That power we need to be coming to us. That power comes with Namaz-e-Shab. That power comes with Salatul Layl. No person who's achieved success continues. You may see temporary success, but no permanent success comes without getting God on your side. Getting God on your side means Salatul Layl. So this is the second part. The third part for yesterday, including yesterday. Remember we said, دُعِيتُمْ فِيهِ إِلَىٰ ضِيَافَةِ اللَّهِ. The Prophet says, يَا مَعَشَرَ النَّاسِ. Remember in this month, आप जो है मेहमान है परवरदिगार आलम के. इस परवरदिगार आलम को मेजबान बनता है ना, तो then he does some etiquettes. हमारे घर पे कोई मेहमान आते हैं, people come to us as guests, we lay out the table for them. Different courses, meals, desserts, falan. God has laid out desserts, but desserts that help us in the akhirah. One example of this which I'm telling you, this is very simple, but many times Quran says, فَذَكِّرْ, remind, فَإِنَّ نَفَعَتِ الذِّكْرَ. Reminder helps the people. Man is prone to forgetfulness. It's reminder that keeps the people in check. One of the etiquettes of the month of Ramadan that he's giving to us as a host is this. And you know this. This is not in me. I just want to remind you. I just want to bring to your mind. You've heard it so many times. And this is there also in that khutbah. These two lectures are based on the khutbah of the Holy Prophet, last khutbah of Shaban. He says, in this month, if you recite one ayah of the Quran, it is equivalent to reciting the whole Quran. We've been hearing since we were child, we've been hearing, all of us. One ayah of Quran is equivalent to reciting the whole Quran. Now look where I'm going to. One ayah equivalent to reciting the whole Quran. You realize how, if you focus yourself, you realize how much time we waste. So, एक आयत की तिलावत and एक Quran. If I am to recite Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, I've got the reward for one whole Quran and the other months. I tested this out once, and that's why I'm telling you. And again, rest assured, before I've told you, I've told my family. और वहाँ जो एक दिन पहले नमाज में चांद नजर आ गए. They've already started. I've always tell them, month of Ramadan comes, make sure you're driving, you're walking, you're cooking. To my wife, keep reciting an ayat of the Quran. And I personally told them, recite Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. There's a reason for it. One, and I'll tell you why. One reason for it, according to riwayat and traditions, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is as close to Ism Azam of God as the black of an eye is to its white of an eye. Itna khareeb. Ejaz-angeez ayat hai. That is one. Secondly, it is the fundamental of the vilayat of Ali ibn Abi Talib salawatullahi wa salamuhu. Why? Because you heard that hadith of the holy of Amir al-Mu'mineen. The entire Quran can be summarized in Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. That means if you actually open, if a Masoom wants to do the tafsir of Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, it will be the 114 verses of the Quran. And if you summarize it, it will become the Bismillah. The more Amir al-Mu'mineen says, he says, there is the entire Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim can be done tafsir by the Ba. and I am but nuqtatun tahta al-ba. Meaning what? Meaning if I'm not there as a nukta, that ba will not be there. If that ba is not there, the bismillah will not be there. If bismillah is not there, the Quran will not be there. If the Quran is not there, the deen is not there. If deen is not there, this entire khilqat of God is not there. I am the fundamentals of the khilqat of God. Understand that it's not lafazi that I want Nara Haydari from you. I'm trying to explain to you what Imam is trying to say in words that we can understand. He says that nuqtatu tahatul ba means without me there is no deen. If there is no deen, God does not need to create this universe. There will be no universe without me. And hence it becomes important with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Now, where I want to take you is, we don't want to go into Bismillah because our discussion is something else. Where I want to take your mind to is this, that we waste a lot of time in our daytime which could be put to fantabulous use. And I'll give you why. Ladies को at least इफ्तार के वक्त कम से कम 1-1.5 घंटे की तो जो है मशक्कत होती है ना उनको घर पर ladies को. I tested this out once, a few years ago. I took my son into this thing, Maha Ramadan, and I started reciting Bismillah when I went to drop him. By the time I dropped him and came back very close, I saw 280 times I've recited Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. You know what this 280 times means? It means 280 Qurans I've recited. And let's be honest, yeah? Dil pe haath rakhiye. Koi taaruf na kariyega. Everybody introspection to himself. Honestly, majority of us, how many times in a year do you finish Quran? One. Maha Ramazan. Be very honest. I don't want the answers from you. Answer yourself. Majority of us only finish the Quran once in a month. In the Maha Ramadan. That's it, huh? फिर वो सूरह यासीन और सूरह मुल्क की तिलावत होती रहती, that's different. But the whole Quran is only in Maha Ramadan. That means in 1 year we finish one Quran. Here in a matter of few minutes, if I'm reciting 280 Quran, I would have required 280 years, which was done in probably 7 minutes. Now imagine a lady is cooking in the house for an hour and a half. Forget hour and a half. Zain huzur, zain na raha, yaad nahi raha, masla nahi. 15 minutes if a lady recites. Calculate, yeah? A person like me can recite one tasbih of Bismillah in 3 minutes. These young people can recite in 2 minutes. Let's take 3 minutes. एक तस्बीह को अगर तो 100 दाने की तस्बीह को जो है अगर तो 3 मिनट लगते हैं. In 15 minutes, she's recited 500 times. 500 Quran in a day. Multiplied by 30. 15,000. 15,000 Quran. और इंसान की इतनी नहीं होती. 15,000 साल इंसान कब जिंदा रह चुका है. You go to drive your kids to school, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. How long does it take to recite Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim? You're sitting at home and spending hours in front of that idiot box. Watch the television. Nobody says don't watch news. But what's it to take a tasbih in your hand and start reciting Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim while you're still listening to it? We waste so much of our time that it could be put to so much good use. I'm not giving you fantastic rocket science. I'm just trying to tell you, at times God wants us to keep remembering Him. You know, there are numerous du'as when you enter the toilet, when you sit down, when you defecate, when you look at the water, when you're washing your hands. There are du'as for all of these steps. Why? Because He wants us to constantly keep Him in remembrance, because only in His remembrance will we not disobey Him. All this is part of that entire process. How many of us have not seen Ayatollah Bayjat? You never see him without his lips moving. I have lived in Qum. I have walked with him from his house to the masjid where he offers his prayers. There's never a time when his lips are not moving. Constantly in remembrance of God. So he's become Ayatollah Bayjat. Make use of your time. You're going from here to home. At least 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Remember, just get your focus. And you will see at the end of the month, you will be absolutely stunned what you have done. Then you will realize, had I been doing this every year, we would have manifested so much. Anyway, our job is to present, and then we inshallah take each other's hands and move forward. But over here, I just want to mention one more thing. See, when it comes to the riwayat of the Ma'asumeen, there are certain riwayat we understand very easily. Now get this very clear. Certain riwayat we understand very easily. So for example, somebody comes and asks the sixth Imam, Yabna Rasulullah, why is alcohol haram? Says, Al-khamru haramun li'annahu muskir. Alcohol is haram li'annahu muskir, because it is muskir. Muskir means it's an intoxicant. Very simple hadith. Alcohol is haram because it is an intoxicant. It intoxicates the mind. Hadith you hear, you understand. There are certain hadith, you read it, you understand it, but you can't fathom how it works. You can't fathom how it works. You understand the hadith, but you can't fathom how it works. So, Islam is a code of life. It has certain etiquettes for everything. So, etiquettes for combing the hair. Islam has got to stay in how to comb the hair. Seventh Imam narration. Now look, you will hear the hadith, you will understand it, but you will not be able to fathom how does it work. And that's why I'm going here to tell this to you. So the seventh Imam, Imam Musa al-Kadhim, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. Something simple as combing the hair. And you always have been hearing, Islam is a code of life. It tells you, guides you how to live your life. Something as simple as combing your hair, Islam says, I will guide you because I have created you. I know you in and out. I know what benefits you, I know what is to your detriment. The seventh Imam says, anybody who combs his hair standing will suffer a weakening of the heart. His heart becomes weak. That's why it's advised, when you comb your hair, sit and comb your hair. You'll never find our ulama standing and combing the hair. They'll always sit and comb the hair. The seventh Imam says, if you stand and comb your hair, your heart becomes weak. You sit and comb your hair, your heart becomes strong. Now you've heard it, you've understood it. Tell me the relation, how does it work? What is standing and combing the hair got to do with the weakness of the heart? Park this for now. There's another tradition in the sixth Imam, again with combing the hair. The sixth Imam says, don't comb your hair in the bathroom. Allama Majlisi is narrating this song. Don't comb your hair in the bathroom, because combing the hair in the bathroom weakens one's hair. You've heard the tradition, you understand it, but you're not able to fathom what is the link between combing the hair in the bathroom and the hair becoming weak. Third example, Joshne Kabir, yesterday we spoke, Dua Joshne Kabir. All of us know the du'as that are there, 100 du'as, each du'a has a specific purpose. You want toothache, you want the toothache to go with, there's a certain du'a to be recited. If there's a pain in the eye, you recite a certain du'a. You got a pain in the ear, pain in the stomach, a certain du'a. How are words going to affect that pain that is there in my tooth or in my stomach? What happens? In olden days, it was very difficult to understand how this works. But today we can understand with these youths. When you study computer science in school, you deal with algorithms. Allah has certain sunnat. Allah in the Quran says He functions the entire world by means of sunnats, certain formulae. In today's time, we call them algorithms. These algorithms are placed in the world of existence. Every time something happens that triggers the algorithm, the effects and consequences take place. There is an algorithm which says, if you disrespect your parents, your lifespan will decrease. The moment the person disrespects the mother, the algorithm comes into play, automatically the lifespan decreases. The riwayat says that algorithm of sadaqah, you give a sadaqah, the algorithm says, it says your risk increases. Moment you give sadaqah, that algorithm gets triggered and your risk increases. These are all rules and algorithms set by God. You will recite this verse, this happens. You recite that verse, this happens. You comb your hair standing, this will be the output. If you sit and comb, that will be the output. This is how God functions the world of existence. Don't think it is all ad hoc in God's world. In God's world, nothing is ad hoc. That entity is absolutely meticulous. He knows exactly what needs to be done and he doesn't need to be interfering at any time. He set those algorithms in motion. You go to Amazon, the moment you click one item, next time you go to any website, the Google and Amazon will put you those items in your search list. It will disappear before you. How? The algorithms come into play. These are algorithms of humans. Those are algorithms of God. And so we understand. So many times you will understand the ahadith, but you will not know the link because you don't need to know. When you, in a computer, when you say Control C, that entire paragraph gets copied. What happens? The moment you press Control C, the algorithm to copy that entire thing comes into play and it's picked up. Then you say Control V, that algorithm comes and it pastes it. It's all working in terms of algorithms, which Allah says Sunnat. وَلَن تَجِدَ لِسُنَّةِ اللَّهِ تَبْدِيلًا. Quran, you will not find in the world of existence the sunnah of God changing. You disrespect the mother, you will face the same thing. I disrespect my mother, I will face the same thing. It doesn't distinguish, oh, I've got an imam, I should be relieved a little. No, the algorithm works for everyone in the same way. كُلُّ نَفْسٍ ذَائِقَةُ الْمَوْتِ, another sunnah of God. Nobody is exempt from it. Even Imam Zaman, you know, when he comes, shahadat will take place. So this is the second category. You will hear, you will understand, but you will not know how things are fathomed. You will not fathom how things are moving. For you guys, you need to realize, if science is not able to explain something to you, you can't just reject the hadith and say this is nonsense. Because things are beyond the understanding of humans, because this is divine intervention. Till the Ma'asum doesn't come and tell you, you will never be able to understand the relation between standing and combing hair and the weakness of the heart. He knows what thing triggers what algorithms. You know that incident of Imam Askari salawatullah salamu alayhi. A person comes to Imam Askari alayhi salam. One incident to know how they pull out the algorithms because they are aware of what is happening in the world of existence. एक मर्तबा एक शख्स इमाम अस्करी सलाम के पास आता कहता है यब्ना रसूलुल्लाह हमारे मंतक में जो है बारिश नहीं है. There's no water, rain inside. No water. We are fearing drought, famine. Imam says, okay. Where did you come from? He says, I've come from that region. Rabbi tell us, Imam picks up a stick. He writes something on the ground. He says, go. The rain will come. He goes and begins to rain. It begins to rain. Now it begins to rain so much there is fear of floods. So he comes running back. Yabna Rasulullah, too much water. Too much water. He writes something over there. Go, the rains have stopped. He goes, the rains have stopped. What is this? These are those individuals who've got ilm of the sunnahs of Allah. They know the algorithms and they know what triggers those algorithms and they use that knowledge given to them by God to trigger those algorithms for your benefit and our benefit. So, this is the second category of ahadith. The third category of ahadith is even worse for us, basically. Not for them, but for us. Because neither can we understand it, nor can we fathom anything. We can't understand, nor can we fathom the relation. So give you an example. You know when Janab Ali Akbar alayhi salam went for the last Khuda Hafizi into the tent? जब आखिरी मर्तबा जो है मौला के पास आए कि बाबा मैं जा रहा हूँ, मैं मक्तल में जाना चाह रहा हूँ, तो इमाम ने क्या कहा? खैमे में जाओ और अपनी माँ से जो है इस्तिज़ान ले लो, इज़्न ले लो. He goes inside. Then you know, it took a long time for him to come out because ladies were not allowing him to go. What we don't hear in the Masab, because it's not part of the Masab, it's part of the entity of the Ahlul Bayt, their maqam, which people don't usually mention, and even I don't mention in the Masab. But this is a different setup. You know, when he was getting late, Imam Hussein goes to the tent and he says, De'anahu. De'anahu is a Arabic form to say, leave him and let him go. Then he says a sentence, you can't understand what it means. It says, De'anahu, leave him, let him go, he's telling the ladies. It's a sentence, a figurative speech for the ladies. De'anahu, leave him, فَإِنَّهُ مَمْسُوسٌ فِي ذَاتِ اللَّهِ. He's mamsoos. Ali Akbar को जाने दो, थोड़े से निकालो बाहर खैमे से, क्योंकि वो mamsoos है खुदा की जात में. Now let me tell you the meaning of mamsoos. Mamsoos is something that you say in the English somebody who's possessed. तो किसी के बाद जिन्नात का असर यूजुअली होता है या whatever. So he's possessed. इमाम का जुमला इसे जाने दो, ये he is possessed in the love of God. He is drowned in the love of God. Let him go. Somebody goes to Ayatollah Bahauddini. Ayatollah Bahauddini was one of the very big Urafa, died recently, not very far away. About him it is said, all the Urafa had teachers who were humans. There were certain teachers. Allama Tabatabai had said Qadi Tabatabai, Sayyid Murtaza Kashmiri had said Qadi Tabatabai. Go back to time, said Mahdi Bahar Nulum, all were teachers. But Sayyid Bahauddin never had any normal teacher. Says his irfan was taught to him by the Aimma in Masumi. Person goes to Ayatollah Bahauddin and says, Ya Sayyid, what is the meaning of this? بأنه leave Ali Akbar فإنه ممسوس, he's possessed. في ذات الله. You know what Ayatollah Bahauddin says? He says, I don't know. I don't know. This only Hussain can answer. This only Hussain can answer. Only he can know what is the mindset of Ali Akbar. We can't understand. So these three types of traditions, now let's come forward. In this entire scenario, we in the month of Ramadan, the Holy Prophet says, all of us acquire one trait of the angels, all of us, irrespective of what we do. Says all of us acquire one trait of the angels. In the first khutbah of Nahj al-Balagha, khutbah number 1, which is the creation of Alam, Imam is talking about how the Alam was created. She talks about the creation of the dense mass of smoke, and it explodes, and the earth is formed, and the mass of form, and the skies are formed. Then he's saying, and he reaches a point when he talks about the creation of the angels. Khutbah number 1, Nahj al-Balagha. I'm giving you a reference, you can go and see it. Imam says, فَفَتَقَ, I'm reading it out. فَفَتَقَ مَا بَيْنَ السَّمَاوَاتِ الْعُلَى. And between the skies, he split the skies to create space between the skies. So then it became Sky 1, Sky 2, Sky 3, Sky 4, Sky 7. There was one sky, he split it. فَفَتَقَ مَا بَيْنَ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ الْعُلَى. He split the skies. فَمَلَأَهُنَّ. He filled those skies أَطْوَارًا مِنْ مَلَائِكَتِهِ. He filled them up with his angels. And you know how many angels? We mentioned Baytul Ma'mur. 70,000 from the time it was created, goes, does ziyarat, never comes back. Count 70,000 into how many years, God knows. فَمَلَأَهُنَّ أَطْوَارًا مِنْ مَلَائِكَتِهِ. He filled this entire skies with his angels. Then Imam says, فَمِنْهُمْ سُجُودٌ لَا يَرْكَعُونَ. And amongst them are those who are in a state of sajda, لَا يَرْكَعُونَ. They never come into the state of ruku'. وَالرُّكُوءٌ لَا يَنْتَصِبُونَ. And there are those who are in a state of ruku', they never stand up. Once in ruku', forever in ruku'. Once in sujood, forever in sajda. وَالصَّافُونَ لَا يَتَزَايَلُونَ. There are angels who have been made to stand in line. They don't move out of the lines. They can't. Then he says, وَالْمُسَبِّحُونَ. And there are angels who are constantly doing tasbih. لَا يَسْأَمُونَ. They don't tire of the tasbih of God. They're constantly reciting without getting tired. Yes? Understood? In this khutbah of Shabaniyah, not Munajat Shabaniyah, this is khutbah Shabaniyah. The Holy Prophet is saying, you know, one of the things that God has given as a gift to you, being the guest of His in the month of Ramadan, is وَأَنفَاسُكُمْ فِيهِ تَسْبِيحٍ. Every breath that you take is tasbih. I want to ask you one question. From the time you get up in the morning till the time you go to sleep, you take your breath one every second. Do you ever get tired? You don't get tired. You don't say, oh, I'm tired now, I want to rest for 5 minutes. Then I will start breathing again. No, you don't say that. You don't get tired. You're constantly breathing. In the month of Ramadan, the Prophet says, every breath of yours is a tasbih. And this tasbih is being recorded as you are reciting. And you're not getting tired of it. It is exactly like those angels that Ali says, مُسَبِّحُونَ لَا يَسْأَمُونَ. Of the angels who keep reciting the tasbih, who don't get tired. Allah says, my karamat to you, my ihtaram to you, my respect to you is I will give you one trait of the angels that I've given to them, I will give it to you, sinner Muslim. Having understood this one final point, and then we stop. This was to bring you to a certain point. That this is a lutf of God. that is given to us. This we did not earn it. हमारी औकात के हम ये चीज को जो है परवरदिगार के पास से जो है वो यानी तकाजा कर सके, तलब कर सके, गुनहगार बन गए. Every moment is our guna. Every moment is ghaflat of God. We can't expect him to give it. He's giving it out of his lutf. I want to give you something that I've given to the angels for this 1 month. But there are individuals who, because of their obedience to the Ahlul Bayt, have acquired traits of the Ahlul Bayt. One example I want to tell you. इंसान जो है जब किसी की तरफ, किसी तो छोड़िए, अहले बैत की तरफ जब बहुत मुतमाइल होता है ना और बहुत फरमाबरदार बन जाता है, तो फिर अहले बैत की कुछ सिफात को जो है इक्तिसाब कर लेता है. He acquires some of the traits of the Ahlul Bayt, not to the level of the Ahlul Bayt, but some characteristics. Hazrat Zahra salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayha, एक वाक़या अर्ज करूं, just one incident, and then I'll tell you how when an individual gets munsalik of the Ahlul Bayt, how he acquires that attribute of the Ahlul Bayt. This tradition is narrated by Anas ibn Malik from the Sunni sources. Anas ibn Malik is the Abu Huraira friends circle. Not the type, his traditions are acceptable, not by us, but not to the level of Abu Huraira. Anas ibn Malik is saying, Hajjaj ibn Yusuf al-Thaqafi asked me about a hadith. Is this hadith sahih? Is this correct? Everyone has heard about Hajjaj ibn Yusuf al-Thaqafi. Who's not heard about? Mazalim Hajjaj ibn Yusuf, kaun nahi janta? Says, he called me and says, there is this hadith that has come to me. Is it correct? So Anas says, yes. Then he says, you know what the hadith was? The hadith was that, now I'm not naming any names, you guys are very well versed, and anyone from the subcontinent don't need to name many names. One of the wives of the Holy Prophet enters the house of Hazrat Zahra. This is the tradition that Hajjaj wanted to confirm from Anas ibn Malik. Did this really take place? Anas said, yes. I heard it, because you will hear what happened at the end. Says this wife of the Holy Prophet enters into the house. She had her own house. She had some work. She thought the Prophet is with Hazrat Zahra. She comes into the house of Zahra. The house is open. She enters inside. She sees around nobody inside. She goes into the kitchen and she peeps inside. As soon as she peeps inside, the color from her face fades. Hayran, mabhut. Kya dekha? She sees that Bibi is cooking food. On the stove, there's a fire. On the stove, there is a patili kehta na, vessel. And there's a curry with salan pak raha hai. And that salan and that curry is boiling because of the heat. अब जो है वो आपसे ज्यादा जो है वो लेडीज बेहतर समझती होगी, इल्ला कि आप जो है वो कमर करते हो घर में तो फिर बात अलग है, लेकिन ladies will know this better, that when you cook the food, कोई दाल है या कोई सालन है, and it is boiling, then it tends to overflow. It is at this time that this lady peeps into the kitchen, and she's seeing this entire vessel of food boiling, and it's about to boil over. Hazrat Zahra looks around. What happens when a food is boiling over? आप कोई चम्मच लेते हैं, चमची लेते हैं, कोई ladle लेते हैं, you take it and you stir it, ताकि जो है फिर वो शांत हो जाए, उभरे नहीं. Bibi looks around, she doesn't find anything, and this is about to come out. This lady sees Bibi put her hand into the burning liquid, move it with her hands. It settles down. She takes it out, takes a cloth and wipes it. This lady stunned. She turns, goes to her father. No names. Goes to the father. Ya abata. رأيت شيئا عجيبا من فاطمة. I saw an ajib amal from Fatima. Zaquli, tell me, what did you see? So I entered. The liquid was boiling. She looked for a spoon. Spoon was not there. It was about to overflow. She put her hand inside and she stirred it. Boiling water, Baba. She said, Uskuti, keep quiet. Don't say it to anybody. هذا شيء عظيم. ये बहुत बड़ी अजीम चीज है, किसी को बताना नहीं. वो हमेशा था ना कि फातिमा के फजाइल को दबा दिया जाए, हमेशा से ये रहा है दस्तूरुल अमल कुछ अफराद का कि फातिमा के फजाइल को हमेशा दबा दिया जाए, बताना नहीं किसी को, मख्फी रखना, ये बात बाहर ना जाए, वरना फिर अहले बैत का बोल बाला हो जाएगा। हम तो दबाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। She stays quiet, but always remember, whenever certain sensitive issues against the Ahlul Bayt are hidden from the Ahlul Bayt, they get opened by one entity who sends an entity down. Allah sends Jibreel and tells him, Rasulullah, Allah has given this information that this incident has taken place. And this lady, one of your wives, is doing ta'ajjub on what he saw of Fatima to Zahra. Prophet very narahat, very upset. एक मर्तबा जो है रवायत कहती है कि he goes to Masjid al-Nabi. He comes onto the member, calls the people, I want to give a khutbah. He says, people are doing ta'ajjub, they are astonished at the incident of the boiling curry and fire. But by the person, by the entity, وَالَّذِي فِي نَفْسِ بِيَدِهِ, by the power of that God in whose hand lies my soul, upon God I swear that Allah has made Fatima, her flesh and her blood haram upon the fire, and it has made his muhibbeen, her muhibbeen and her shias haram upon the fire. Then he says, the Prophet, it says, Waylun, Waylun, woe be upon that individual who doubts the fadail of Fatima, when Nifreen, and the curse of Allah upon her husband who doubts his imamat and his haqqaniyat. There's 14 minutes. So this is one attribute of Hazrat Zahra. Fire, heat has been made haram upon her all the Sadat, the Kiram, and al-Muhibbin. So, done, khalas. You know a person by the name of Salman-e-Farsi. Salman-e-Farsi, we don't know. You've heard the name, but you don't know about him. Salman was no ordinary man. अगर मासूमीन और शिबह मासूम तो समझते ना हजरत अब्बास जनाब ज़ैनब, जो टेक्निकली मासूम नहीं है मासूम, टेक्निकली चार मासूमीन नहीं आते, उन्हें कहा जाता है शिबह मासूमीन। मासूमीन के अलावा और शिबह मासूमीन के अलावा, यानी खानदान बनी हाशिम, खानदान अहल बैत के अलावा, अगेन वी आर नॉट गेटिंग इनटू बीबी मासूमा, दे ऑल पार्ट ऑफ दैट सेम शिबह मासूम। उनके बाद अगर तो सबसे पहला नंबर किसी का लगता है तो सलमान फारसी। आप देखिए उनकी सवानी उम्र, आप क्या जानते हैं सलमान फारसी के खेल के। देखिए एक वाकया सुनिए और फिर नतीजा लीजिए जो रसूल खुदा ने बयान किया। वाकया क्या था? सलमान फारसी अपने घर पर है। मिक़दाद is coming to the house of Salman Farsi. As he enters, Riwayat says Miqdad sees there's a food on the stove that is now being cooked. Salman is cooking food. Miqdad comes, they're friends, sitting and talking together. As the scene, Salman and Miqdad, you know, he's one of those individuals, Riwayat says he will come back during Rajat. No ordinary man. Miqdad, Riwayat has said, Miqdad उन अफराद में से होंगे कि जब रजात होगा तो उनका रुजू होगा, कब्र से उठाया जाएगा. Understand his rank. This Miqdad is now sitting with Salman Farsi, and the food is being cooked. At that point of time, that food begins to boil over. It is about to come out. Salman tells Miqdad, can you please stir this food? Miqdad looks around for a spoon. He says, Laysa indi shay'un. There is nothing that I have that I can stir. Salman is saying it's about to flow over. Salman gets up, puts his hand inside the boiling water, stirs it. It settles down. Miqdad stands up and gets out of the house. Too difficult for him to digest. Salman putting his hand into the fire and the boiling water. He goes straight to him, to Rasulullah. Ya Rasulullah, I've seen something ajib from him, from Salman. He says, tell me. He says, I saw this food boiling over. He puts his hand inside the boiling water and stirs it without anything happening to his hand. Rasulullah smiles and says, you don't need to be surprised. He says, but what has happened? Then the Prophet says, the level of obedience of Salman, the level of itaat of Salman towards Allah, towards me, and towards Amir al-Mu'minin of such a caliber and of such complete obedience that yuti'ahu Allah kulla shay'in. Allah has made everything subservient to Salman, وَلَا يَضُرَّهُ شَيْءٌ, and nothing will harm Salman, including the fire. अब समझ रहे मैं क्या बयान कर रहा हूं? यानी मुंसलिक होना अहले बैत से बिन्नहव अतम इस मंजिला पर इंसान को पहुंचाता है कि इक्तिसाब करता है सिफात आलिया अहले बैत के जरिए से. Was he a Bani Hashim? Salman? Was he coming from the Nasl of Ibrahim? Fire worshipper family. Reaches a point that the Ahlul Bayt Salman minna Ahlul Bayt. This is ma yantaku anil hawa in huwa illa wahyun yuha speaking. This is not metaphorical statement that the Prophet says. When he says Salman minna Ahlul Bayt, that means he's become part of the Ahlul Bayt. That means he's gone iktisab of the attributes of the Ahlul Bayt. यही तो चाहते हैं वो हमसे, और यही तो बार बार रिवायत में है, हमारी हमें मानो और हमारी भी मानो. मसला यह है कि हम उनको मानते हैं, उनकी नहीं मानते. बस परवरदिगार आलम के पास दुआ है, मसअलत है कि परवरदिगार अब तुझे वास्ते मोहम्मद व आले मोहम्मद का हमें तौफीक अता फरमा कि हम जिस तरह उनको मानते हैं उनकी भी माने. برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
السلام عليك يا نبي الله، السلام عليك يا حبيب الله، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا علي بن أبي طالب، السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين، السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى، السلام عليك يا حسين الشهيد، السلام عليك يا علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي. السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان، الأمان 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 من فتنة الزمان. السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن، السلام عليك إمام الإنس والجان، عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم صل على محمد.